All right, we are live and we are successfully live and not streaming to the wrong thing again. Thank God. I see multiracial lion in the chat. Check your DMs, by the way. $20 from IWC. Vane BT cycle didn't feel as bad as Doom posters and Reddit made it sound like. Unfortunately, the level of hype that amounted to over the span of 8 months could not even get close to what the fights could possibly be, especially with Foresight. So, and yes, I was late. OBS, Streamlabs changed their UI on me, and I was trying to mess around with the audio settings while also making sure to actually start the right stream this time. We demand violence. Interesting. Well, anywho, I'm joined by Mino Nidre today, but this is the ranting hour, or we rant for an hour. I don't want to talk for more than an hour today. Yeah, Mino and Nidre are here. We do plan on talking. FR was last week. My minor surgery. It wasn't a surgery. We just got a tooth implant. It went well. I probably could have streamed last week, to be honest. I said this, but I just I figured I might as well just take it easy because I was feeling a slight amount of pain. But go ahead and like the video while you're here. I'm going to try to be on my Kevin Samuels with the likes. I'm going to be watching the like ratio and making sure y'all are doing that. But if you're watching the VOD, leave a comment. Chat. You can throw super chats to get my attention because I try and keep an eye on chat, but y'all be chatting. And if you want more shenanigans and you are not cringe, please don't be cringe. Join the TCC Discord where we like to talk about the game in a serious fashion generally. In the help channel, the general channel is full of shit posting. What else? Watch the TCC podcast, Mark and Mino, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can also, if you want more streams, I shout out the live stream. There's the live stream on Monday, live stream on Twitch. I don't remember the exact Twitch name. Damn. I have failed my plugs, but if you check out Blart's channel, I know a lot of y'all are subscribed to Blart. Him, Type Zoe, and Raw live stream every Monday, so that's more live stream content. And then Cross 13 does the Historia Crux on Tuesday. So if y'all are looking for more live content to go like just mess around in, you got them. That's like once a week. That's a lot to say to you. What else? Shout out to Excalibur. He finally hit 1,000 subscribers. Long overdue. Shout out to him, doing a lot of helpful stuff. He's a great player. And you can become a YouTube member on my channel. If you see people posting emotes in the chat, I think I'm almost to 70 members. And then we'll get to add a new emote. So if you're not a member and you want to help add a new emote, go ahead and do that. And if you aren't making content right now, go ahead and do it. Okay, rip the dream there. Let's see. COD in 4K, another reason why FFT is the best. I don't know what. LDList Zach, save my challenge quest on rework alone. Yeah, alright, what up y'all, what up? Glad to be back. And hello to Nidra's mic.
Yeah, I got a new mic. It's very sensitive.
Yeah, you can turn the sensitivity down, you know.
Yeah, I'll figure that out at some point.
Understood. All right, so I wanted to, so we have some catch up to do. FR did happen. It would have happened at the end of last week's stream, and I know some of you got to see a panic in real time as we did not know enough information, but I think we've fomented enough visibility into highlighting that some of the community members are extremely neurotic and will lose their shit at any moment. I think largely we didn't have too much panic. There were some initial takes that didn't age well immediately without the full picture. There's still people thinking that FR is required for some reason. But me and Nidre and Nino have been talking about kind of the monetization stuff around Dissidia lately, and there was that Reddit thread earlier. And Mino backed me up on this. Are you alive?
I haven't heard him say anything in a while.
Mino is like sick right now, so he might be dead right now. So I'm gonna assume he's dead and not able to talk.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here? Jesus, dude. Maybe you really should just log off.
It's only an hour. I want to talk about this stuff.
Okay, so we with the background that, and you know the usual numbers for the game, right? And they didn't do so high. Was it this last month? Was it?
It's this last month, but I have an update on that actually.
Oh, okay. So you want to kick it off with that? I wanted to spring
Yeah,
off of that.
so that video, after doing some fact checking,
Yeah.
that video was GL only
Mm.
numbers, not
Okay.
including JP, but the other games like Record Keeper and Brave Exvius were both versions combined. So with JP numbers, and this isn't counting like force weapon stuff, we're actually still doing better than Record Keeper. Not by like a shit ton, but DFFOO is still doing better than Record Keeper. I think total, it's at like 1.7 mil, close to 2 mil. I forgot what Record Keeper was at, if you remember any of the numbers.
No, I didn't
for
pay
both
attention to
versions.
them. I was just
I thought that they were like closer to a mil across both versions, like a mil 0.2, something like that is what I generally saw.
I know GL's always under a mil. I don't know how JP's looking, but I remember that. Remember when BC brought a couple ranting hours ago? We brought up the video. JP content creator. He had the numbers, and they were like consistently above a mil. So I think
Yeah,
that's a good bet.
yeah. For Defo, JP is usually like a mil 0.1, a mil 0.2, somewhere in that range. And I think GL is usually like 700k, 800k, 600k, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, so I remember at least from that old video when Lufania Plus dropped in JP, that was almost 2 mil. And then they were charting its fall down to like 1.3 mil or lower during garbage time or something.
okay. I didn't know where I wanted to go with that, but it's more the concepts around. And Nidre, do you have I should have asked you this before. Do you have the numbers you threw up for potentially maxing out all the force weapons?
Yeah, so I mean, this is like a very interesting thing to think about, especially in the context of like this new era. We were really unsure of like how necessary FR weapons are going to be. Is a 0-3-1 okay? Is a 3-3-1 what you need to be viable? And I guess we should probably start with that. Like, how does this stuff like work in content? And so far, I don't really feel like. I mean, obviously, this is the first fight that's had it.
It's only
but it
one
wasn't.
FR, one weapon. So we can't really draw anything definitive, especially because things change like that. So it's kind of just half speculation, but we are backing our talk up with some calculated stuff. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So I don't. Like certainly having an FR wasn't required at all for this fight.
Nope.
Having a 3-3 FR certainly wasn't required for the fight. You didn't really, you didn't need Kane necessarily. One could argue that it's slightly less restrictive because of not having an orb. That's up for debate, certainly.
Yeah.
But I think that this fight was not particularly restrictive and not particularly punishing. I mean, it was a harder fight than we've had for a few months.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Yeah. I had to get off my ass and think.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was really more that. Basically the mechanics of the fight were big HP poison on your characters that increased how much damage it did as this force gauge on the enemy went up. And I wasn't really able to. I don't know if you had any notion about this, but I think it just kind of progressed going up as you took turns, and it went up even more when they took turns. That's basically all there was to that.
I don't quite know either, but I know it. I think when they took turns, it went up more. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. Yeah, I know Mino translated it. Can you confirm that?
Yeah. No, wait, just confirm that. Yeah. It's like EX gauge, right? Like, your turns will build it, but their turns build it even more.
Okay.
And I think it's the same on player side as well. You guys have more of the hard data of what stalls it. So I think during burst and summon, it doesn't move. No.
It
does.
It does.
Okay, it does. Okay. So it's only during force time that it doesn't move. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I believe. And it provided an interesting. It was a new way to approach the fight because it wasn't the typical. All right, once they're at 50, then you go nuts with everything because that's peak reductions and try and burn it down as fast as possible. Especially because their gauge kind of charged faster than yours without having an FR in the party. So you kind of had to deal with. Well, it is possible also to. So it is really cool. I'm all over the place here, but it is some people were able to rush the gauge completely and never see it go off with enough damage, with like enough off-turn damage and stuff. There was an LD only clear with like Edge, Garnet, and who was the third? It was Edge, Garnet, and Realm. just doing off turns and just eating stuff. There was stuff like Kadaj and Arciela's calls killing the threshold attack. So there were ways around it. Someone did point out it was about the length of fights if you don't run Kane. That is true. They had passive HP reduction going on, and the fight had a lot of HP in general. And it was one of those times where I appreciated raw damage in the form of Sephiroth. I was bouncing, and I juiced up my team. Like, I made sure to give everyone an ultimate weapon so we could hit higher HP damage and stuff. And then making sure you timed your stuff around the force gauge of your friend, if you brought one. You didn't have to do it, by the way. Was also an interesting mechanic as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit in various chat rooms, but as far as I was concerned, this wasn't really like an unfair fight, like maybe what GL was going through this week, but you know, it was a very big jump certainly in HP numbers. I mean, these things were very, very spongy. They had reductions that we haven't seen before because it's a new difficulty. Yeah. They had HP damage down on themselves, basically. Kind of like, I guess like Wall has that too. I'm trying to think of characters on our end who have that, but now the enemies have that too. Yeah. There was a reduction that basically was like to counter some of the snow shenanigans people have been running.
Maximum Brave held -80. It was so it was something that if nerfs the Aroha effect, where if you hold too much Brave and you let it go, they'll reduce it regardless. I don't know the exact way to describe it, but it was if you're holding too much Brave and you dump HP, or if you're holding too much Brave, like way over the cap, and you dump it, it won't stay that high. They put a new mechanic in to counter that as well. So I think people still abuse Snow, but it wasn't nearly as powerful. Also, Hanshu21 pointed out enemy gauge also charges faster as enemy HP goes down. So as you get closer, their gauge starts coming up. So if you're not doing enough damage, you can meet 2 gauges at once.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Right, that was in the translations as well. The thing you mentioned, I didn't see in there, so I'm not sure if that's confirmed though. But you guys played the fight, I didn't.
Also, anything we may or may not say could be completely wrong because we can't read.
Yes.
let me get that out of the way right now. Do not take anything we say as a source of truth, please.
Right. So on this fight, I think just in general, it was way tankier, way more HP. That was the main change here. Like kind of similar to the jump from regular Lufenia to Lufenia Plus with Divine Panda. Very similar to that. It was just like a big change in reductions, a big change in HP. I kind of thought it was a little bit of a jarring jump, like going from 120 million now, 3 months ago, we had a single target fight that was I'm thinking of Divine Leviathan was like 30 million HP or something like that. It was a big jump, you know, not the end of the world. Certainly people had a billion different answers to it, but it was a pretty jarring jump.
They definitely stepped on the gas to the point where I was like, I was like, can I bring Noel here? And maybe with enough brain power I could, but like he's doing 1 million damage per EX. And granted, I don't have a full ultimate weapon on him like I do my Sephiroth. But Sephiroth can do 1 million plus on a skill too. So I can there has definitely been like subtle power creep in the background. We just haven't really felt it, but I definitely felt it kick in at this point. People are asking if the FR system is better than orb conditions. We don't know that yet because there's only been one, and we haven't seen what they can do yet.
Right. I mean, there's something about like ranged attacks. I think supposed to help, like either stall the meter going up, or like reduce the force time of the enemy. Wasn't really sure about that, but fundamentally, as you're playing this fight, it basically didn't come into account as far as I was playing it.
Okay. I got a question on that. So Compendium threw out a translation, but it doesn't look accurate to me. Compendium says, anytime you use a ranged attack, or if your force time is active, their gauge will freeze. That doesn't seem accurate to me, right? Because it did not freeze when I was watching runs doing range attacks. So, like, the translation I had was
Isn't it doing range attacks while your force is active? That's what Multi-Race Alliance said earlier.
What I read is using a force ability that does range damage. So Kane's force ability.
Yeah, so that is right. That is what Multi-Race Alliance said.
Yeah, that is the one force ability that we have. So I guess... You know, tomorrow, Cryo will come out. Somebody could bring Cryo FR there, and I guess we would expect that the force time would not be paused in
Kane's
that
attack
case.
during force time, and I think that it triggers on Kane's attack because it does the force time trigger before or after the attack. Does this matter? Kane freezes it. I mean, we're gonna need we're gonna need something else to test it. Kane is the only one who can stop it right now. That's the point.
Yeah, to be clear, the way that it functionally works, from what I saw, was that if they have their force time up, they're more deadly. Basically, they do more damage, and their HP poison is going on for the maximum amount. And then if you FR on Kane, then it basically goes off. Like it pauses and stops happening.
So it really is just Lufenia Orb with a different flavor. Amir Stevens for $5. I can't. I'm reading this. I gotta read it in my head first. I can't force gauge. Oh, I can't wait for force gauge transcendence.
Well, yeah, that's probably what he meant. Yeah.
So they haven't put anything that kills it. So if they could very easily put something really rough when the gauge, because there's like 5 different phases we have to deal with now. So those are 5, and then we have when it maxes as well. Whatever they do while it's maxed, and this current boss, you only have to let them act 3 times before it goes off. But this could get really wacky. So whether it's like Lufenia orbs on paper don't have to be crazy, but they were at times. So we really can't conclude anything at the moment. We have to see what else they can do, because it's in a guarantee. There's gonna be that one. There's gonna be that one that catches fire that it ends up being completely bullshit, and people are gonna say, "Oh God, it's Lufenia all over again. Time to quit the game." But just watch out for that one. That's why I'm hesitant to max anything, because I know it's gonna happen. It always happens. But we got the memory to go through this. But speaking about quitting the game, I wanted to talk about more about the Powerstone situation, because the unironic save your Powerstones conversation is very funny at this moment. So I know Nidre, you ran the numbers on how many Powerstones you need to max everything.
Yeah, all of this was a digression to say that we don't know how necessary it is to max force weapons. But let's say that you are a collector and you want to max every force weapon. Well, you're going to need, people are like saying, oh, I'm in GL right now, I should save all my Power Stones. And you see some people with pretty high Power Stone counts, like 700, 800, something like that. If you wanted to max all, so there's 159 characters in JP right now. If you go at the pace of 5 FRs a month, that's 31 more months. It'll probably be a little faster than that. But let's use that as an example. So 159 characters plus 31 over the course of the entire FR era, times 240, because you need 240 Power Stones to max an FR. You're going to need 45,600 Power Stones. I don't know anybody who's anywhere near that.
You said 45,600?
Yeah, that's correct.
There you go.
Yeah, nobody has anywhere near that amount.
And I know you converted that into US dollars too, right?
Right. So if let's go from a different direction and look at this, right? Like, let's say, okay, that's too many Power Stones for me. What I really want to do is I want to have enough gems so I can pity 4 copies of every FR weapon. Then, that's probably more economical, right?
Well, that's also the extreme worst case that will quite literally never happen. Yeah, but just hypothetically.
Yeah, you shouldn't expect to have to go to 400,000. Like, usually you'll probably get most of them at 200,000. You would imagine.
If you're neurotic enough to think that an FR is going to potentially cost you $400,000 gems, just quit the game now, bro. It's not worth it.
But imagine if you did think that, and you wanted to be as safe as possible, as conservative as possible.
Yeah.
To get all the FR weapons, you would need 76 million gems. So nobody I don't know anybody who has 3 million gems, much less 76 million gems.
Yeah.
But that's quite a lot of gems.
Panic, lose your minds, go crazy. And the funny thing is that there is no possible way to save for FR, because if you don't pull anything and you don't up your Power Stones, and I was thinking about this on my Kane pulls. I'm like, maybe it's worth it trying to go for the FR pity and seeing how many dupes I get along the way and then building from there. That's a viable strategy. Or if you pull a lot and you have a lot of Power Stones, the conversion rate is so bad that you're going to run out if you try and get everything in the first place. So it is quite literally impossible to save for FR era, and I find that hilarious. I mean, beyond go for. I mean, within reason. I mean, you're not gonna. You can't be like, oh, I need to get this FR. I need to get. If you plan for the worst case for FR, it will just not happen. So you can't win orders. And no amount. It's not whale fodder. It's not just because it's a new tier. It can't be whale fodder. Maxing them all, or maxing an insane amount. That's whale stuff. But now you just have to pick and choose. You can't have everything. And you can't hoard for it. Congrats. Those gems you were, all you giant hoarders out there that you've been saving for the worst case for, you could have had fun in the past and widened your roster out. And now, it's just going to be like, oh, well, guess I can't have much anymore. You could have had fun, but you decided to hoard. I hope you feel bad.
Right. Yeah, Jet's Crush is bringing up a decent point in chat, like, you can, in theory, sell an FR weapon for 4 large Powerstones, but, that's very dangerous because the devs haven't said it's safe to do so.
Oh, yes. So, good point.
So there's going to be a whole world of people doing, the people, BC, who they sold their BT weapons to get more tokens,
the Giga Marines, right? who sold their BT. This is an actual guy. He this is before Transcendence came out in JP, and he was like, oh, I can keep the BT passive. And I can just keep, and he buy premium pass and get all the BTs and get all their passives and then keep selling them so he get as many BTs as possible. And then Transcendence popped up where he needed to have them equipped, and then BT Plus came even later. So the selling LD paranoia was over, and I'm glad all these hoarders are selling their LDs finally. Once we knew, even though they said we can sell them, but now selling FR is like, oh, I don't know.
Right? Yeah. Now I wouldn't recommend selling them. So. I think that the point that you're making is totally correct. There's just, what does it all mean? There's all these big numbers. I just ran a really quick calculation. It would probably take you hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that amount of gems. And I don't think even the most, there is one guy on JP who has every weapon green, which is a lot of most people, maybe 1 or 2 people are these kind of giant whales who will try to get every FR maxed. But for most people, this means you're going to have to pick and choose the FRs you want. That's what it means.
Yep.
And it doesn't really, you can save your gems and save your tickets now, and I'm sure a lot of people will, because after this month, it's going to get pretty easy. But,
that won't hedge you for FR.
Right.
You're going to depart with those resources somehow. And this also puts the alternative pull strategies in the mix, for example, because now, I was thinking, is it viable now to potentially go to 100k pity and then dump your tickets to try and get more dupes if you're in that bad of a situation?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, stuff like that, for example, it might be viable, just depending on your Powerstone stash and how willing you are to get out of there. I mean, for having FR dupes goes a very long way, and that's so if you. And you can't, even if you break away in Luxac 1, you can't keep doing it. You say you Luxac all the FRs in 1 month, you just won't be able to max them out.
Yeah.
And I'm actually pretty excited for that, because it means people got to make hard choices. I know Mino will love this. It means people will have to take stances on characters. We can throw away the everyone is good thing, because now it's really competitive. Like, all right, there's skin in the game now. Like, all right, you max an FR, you are stuck with that. You're probably more incentivized to blue them as well. If they don't have a BT, now the question becomes, how about BT viability without if they have FR but they don't have their BT? And the other thing about FR is that it doesn't change a character's role at all. So we're gonna go through a whole new weapon tuning pass with characters' utilities. And let me not say that, because Kane's was just we don't know if they're going to be an instant turn thing or whatever, but Kane's just did a launch and it was an instant turn. I guess it does kind of depend on what they do for Cryo, but from looking at Kane's, and since it was a 1 or 2 time move and it didn't provide a buff, it just interacted with and it gave party buffs. It doesn't look like anybody's roles are going to change, right? And we're probably
Cryos is say more of the same too. They already said what it did in the Ope, which is basically.
What they say?
So Kane's was ticks up the HP damage by 5% every time there's a range, and another 5% from a launch, right? So range launch, like his EX is up 10%. And so Kryle's is every time you use thunder damage, it ticks up the HP by 5%. And she gets her, her EX ability. So when she activates Force Time, all of the allies gain a big brave regen at the beginning of their turns, based on the HP damage she does with her.
So she has utility attached to her Force Time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like doubling up on her EX effect, right? You know how her EX effect is it's the same effect as her EX effect, except it's a second one, and it's based on how much HP damage is done when she triggers the Force Time.
And then there's the team building angle for that as well. So now you really got to look at your roster and say, like, all right, do I have the ability to exploit this Force Time if I'm going to be using it a lot? If you luck sack one, now we can throw maybe I should sell this to make it go towards more high Powerstones in the future. Like there's a lot of new questions.
That's a good point, right? Like maybe you don't actually want to hold on to like dead force weapons, right?
Yeah.
You would rather sell them for a high power stone for characters you want to use, honestly.
Yeah. It's completely changing everything. Like the game is pretty stable. Power Stones have been pretty OP since if you've been playing for a long time, you've pretty much been able to max anything out as soon as you get it. But now it's kind of an even playing field, and I really like the switch up. Some people aren't going to be comfortable with that. Nidre, you can chime in here. It definitely tightens. Oh, I'm gonna fuck this up again. It makes it harder for free to plays, but I think that's a compromise I'm willing to make for the game to be more successful.
Right, I think in our discussions we've said the same thing, that you see a lot of other gacha games where you can get by pulling one copy of things, and then somebody can go really invest a lot, and you might be able to do that even if you're free to play, but very rarely. And if you
gotta make harder choices.
If you get if you're a whale, you might want to like invest even more into it and get more power. And I think that's a good thing that whales should be able to, have a reason to whale.
Right,
in some points of the game, there hasn't been.
Right, the ceiling. That's the thing I was talking with Mino and you about before. So a lot of the times previously in this game, it's been, and we've had this saying, IWC for $2. Can you sell FR and equip Ultima weapon? I believe so.
Yeah, you can, but you would need to have MLB the FR. Yeah. So you need to MLB the FR to get the FR passive, right?
Yes.
So, and then the other reason that you wouldn't want to sell FR is there going to be a possibility of FR Plus in the future? We don't really know currently.
They haven't said you can't sell them.
Yeah, I feel like if there were, they would have said don't hold on to them. I really feel like they would have.
I think that I would agree with that interpretation, but I still personally would not be selling them until there was some more confirmation.
Gio will know.
Probably.
Reading the little chat, mixing is the only way to go. I mean, it's definitely more feasible now. I mean, Tree Void says, I wonder if the FR era will lead to long droughts of pulling like the mid-Chaos era for a different reason. I mean, yeah, because kind of in the Chaos era, you had the resources, but you didn't want to pull because you didn't want to max anyone. And now I think they are on the correct side of it, where if you are gonna pull, you can fix that. You can fix that yourself. Like you couldn't pull more to get more ingots, but you can pull more to get more copies. So you can have the resources, and if you really want someone, you can solve that by putting your resources on the banner. So I think this is the smarter way to go about things now. FR friend units will be more valuable than BTs, potentially.
Yeah, it'll depend. There was a lot of discussion with Kane friend. What did you want to do?
I still don't know.
Right. So, like, do you want... I think the way that I played it was you want to get 2 LDs off with jump, and then get your FR off, basically. That was what I went with. But that meant that I wasn't pressing the BT button, which is like what we always do.
Yeah. It's a very weird adjustment, and it's still going to take some time. I expect to trial and error a lot of these fights at first, which I'm also enjoying. Shadowheart asked, "What's the max amount of Power Stones needed to max out the FR weapon?" I keep forgetting. It's 240, right?
Yeah, it's 240 of regular Power Stones.
240, because it's 12 for high Power Stone, right?
20.
Yeah. Yep, 12 times 20, yep. And so one thing that we're not sure of, right, is like, what is the power level of a MLB FR weapon? How necessary is that power level? I think that the intention here, from what I'm seeing, is that it does give you a lot, right? If you MLB it,
in the party,
you get
that's a
in
lot
the party,
of breathing room.
Right? You get 3 major things. One is you get 2 Force Stones, so you don't have to worry about getting the Force boards for that.
Oh, right.
Character.
That's the thing we didn't mention. There are Force enhancement boards. I think you need 15k points to max them out.
15k points and 2 Force Stones. That's right.
And the Mog Pass got up. The basic Mog Pass got up to 15k per event, I believe, and the Premium Pass. So that's another good thing that they made the Premium, because the Premium Pass and the regular Mog Pass have been kind of dead in the water in JP currently, especially the base Mog Pass. Like, if you've been playing for a while, you maxed out your artifacts. And those have barely mattered in the past couple months, and you got a bunch of character points because you've been playing a while. The Mog Pass has been very not worth it, but now considering they reworked it, now it's very worthy of buying again, I believe. Especially the premium. The premium is loaded now. Like before, like BT tokens and some gems, whatever. But now you get a very marked advantage. But go ahead about the enhancement points.
Yeah. So there's we don't know, and again, another thing we don't know is how good are these enhancement boards. They seem very good.
Yes. And they can help you tick up the important part about the boards, and this is why. On every event, all 6 characters who are on the banner are becoming
great
Force Awakened. Is that the fucking?
I think that's what we're going with.
No, fuck that. Force Enhanced. That still
Force
sounds
Enhanced,
Star Wars.
sure.
They're getting Force Enhanced, which means they get their own set of Force boards, which are the. Is it 15k for the Force boards alone, or is it 15k to max the character?
Boards alone.
Okay, so it's an extra 15k, but and you need some kind of fucking cores to do this that you get from Shinryu and other things, and these are also purchasable in the daily Cactuar thing. But these Force boards allow you to tick the Force gauge on your own. So while you can't go into Force mode and like pause and get these insane cap ups without the weapon. What you can do is you can build it faster if you have a Force enhanced person in your party. So say I'm running Warrior Life, Pinello, and Kais in the party, and they're all Force enhanced. That will get the blue gauge up in my team faster, so that Kane friend of mine can get into his FR earlier. And also, if you bring an FR friend, your gauge will charge over time. And when your gauge is blue, that's the time to bring the Kane friend in.
Yeah. So that's one thing that you get is you get those 2 stones that allow you to max the Force boards.
Yes.
Another thing that you get for max limit breaking is you can use the Force ability twice on that character. Now, the fight that we had, it would be pretty hard to max the gauge more than once, but you could imagine in the future maxing the gauge 4, 5, 6, 7 times, so that could be useful. And then finally, the third thing that you get, which is kind of an underrated thing perhaps, is now that you've MLB'd the Force weapon, you can equip the ultimate again. Because you don't need to be holding on to it. So there are big advantages to having an MLB'd Force weapon, but when I look at having 2 extra FR uses, for example, going from 1 to 2 FR uses, that's a big deal. But going from 0 to 1 is a much bigger deal.
Yes.
1 to 2 is only, from what I read, 1 LB, right?
Yes, but I think isn't on the last.
LB.
I think on the last LB it doubles the length of the Force time.
Yeah, but for an extra use, it's just 1 LB.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are benefits for sure of having a max limit broken weapon, but I think that the biggest thing that you get out of an FR weapon comes on the 0 of 3 for it, because you can use the FR ability and get that big damage gain fade.
Now I have some pushback on that, because I was trying to use my 0 to 3 FR Kane, right, who has LD, and I didn't go all the way. It kind of, at that point, you kind of have to go in on them anyways. Like, you kind of want the Force boards so you can charge the gauge faster. And if he's not blue or whatever, then that's a damage loss. And I was messing around with it. It didn't feel as good. Maybe it's because I wasn't used to Kane, but it felt like kind of ass to not have that max. And maybe that's just me personally. I hate using non-max stuff. I wasn't one of those 0 to 3 ingot degenerates in the Chaos era. And I also hate running non-blues in general. So while I think on paper it might sound like 0 to 3 might be viable, and I'm pretty sure it probably is, I wonder if the player base would be okay with that in mass.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell how people are going to want to play it, and I think the way that the fights are structured are going to dictate a lot of this, because if the fights don't require very diverse parties, then you're incentivized to just have one FR character super maxed. But if there are reasons to bring a lot of different FR characters, then you're going to have to run the board and have multiple different FR weapons.
Yeah,
multiple
once we get
characters.
More force enhanced characters, they're gonna expect you to have a force enhanced in the party and be charging your gauge quickly. Like we're gonna hit that point at some point. We're just not even close to there yet, just because it's so sparse. How many copies of his FR did I have 3 copies of his FR currently, and as a shout out to Jets Crush for reminding me that they gave us 4 high Powerstones as well, so I could actually just max it. I completely forgot I could do that, so I think I might do that, but I'm still holding. I'm fucking hoarding, dude. If I don't have to use it, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure we touched on the whole ceiling and floor thing.
Yeah.
So like I was trying to say earlier, if you think back to the Chaos era, and you run around for the very beginning of Chaos era, but we had people kind of stupidly, and I wrote these people's names down. Oh man, some of our favorite Galaxy Brains, some of the people did this. They pulled an extra Cloud EX and booked the dupe, and this was before we could sell dupes in global. Like we didn't get the sell EX dupes until like LD, I think. But people pulled an extra copy to be the first global purple Cloud and dumb shit like that. But Square Enix did not want to. They did not want to sell us red ingots from the jump. And something that is interesting now is that now that they've upped the board requirements, they're actually selling just straight up character points on JP now. Do you remember what the bundles are?
I can pull them up real quick, but that's definitely another thing that we touch on is like how required are for our enhancement points again now.
Yeah.
That's still I think that now that characters need another 15k at most, and you can actually also, even if you don't have the Force Stones, you can go to level 10 of 30 and still get some of the benefits of the Force boards without using any Force Stones. So that's another thing that you have to keep in mind.
They're not selling green mats. Yeah, they like leaving money on the table. And they really they put themselves in a situation frequently where paying for the game doesn't get you much. And with FR, it finally seems like you could get some real mileage out of paying, because you get 30k points in event. That's huge. That's 2 FR boards. You also get the BTs. What else do you get? You get the Ultima weapon stuff. So there is a huge difference in paying for premium and being willing to buy packs too. And having that gap between free, like, this is what this is why Genshin makes like 30 million. Well, 1, because they sell cute anime girls, but 2, the gap between a low investment character and a high whale investment character is like minutes of clearing a stage. Like, you can clear stages in seconds in Genshin if you whale, but versus like struggling to clear like I do in 7 minutes. That would be like if you could just dust stages in Dissidia in like 3 turns. If you like went full whale, that should be encouraged. Like we should be letting people do that, and they kind of shied away from it, I guess. I don't know why, but it seems like they're willing to give players the ability to buy their way into wins finally at the start of an era, which I appreciate for the game's health. Yeah.
I looked up the prices for those enhanced board bundles. So first of all, I should mention these are
16
bundles that are on sale. They are, so that means that they'll probably be refreshed once a month. And there are 4 of each, so you can buy 4 of them if you want. So there's a smaller bundle for 1,340 yen, which is about $12 US.
Yeah, that's 10 for us whenever they price
10, yeah, okay, 10. Then that gives you 5k points. and 1,500 gems. And then the 2,440 yen bundle, which I guess would be about $20, I would imagine.
$20, yeah.
That will get you 15,000, so 15,000 enhancement points or enhancement points. So these are for sale now. So not only have they made the Mog Pass a better deal for getting enhancement board points, they've also allowed you to catch up if you just spend a little more money.
Yep. So the options are there. They're giving people options, and they are raising the power ceiling. Ideally, the game will be free to play, accessible. Accessible meaning you're probably still gonna, but you can still be tempted by the power you could have if you pay, but you ultimately don't need to. You can still do stuff without X. It might be harder, it might be more difficult, but if you are someone who wants to just blow your money, you will feel a marked difference. And right now, especially during garbage time, that was when it was the worst in JP, where you could buy a bunch of Ultima weapons and still like dust the stages with your brain off. That's bad. But now, if you're getting the premium pass, you got more Ultima weapons, and then this counters the HP damage reduction. You could do it across the board. You have more. You could get your force gauge up faster. And especially if you're wailing on more weapons, then you're getting that full force gauge, and at one point you'll have it on the different characters, and you'll be way ahead of free to play having. And so the people who just like pull on everything, and they can get everything I mix on banners, and I have all the weapons. It's been no problem for me. Those people are definitely going to be throttled, and if you're not going to be willing to shell out money, you're going to need to think harder about your resources, which I think is good. If you're not paying, you should, and this is just in general, you should be thinking about how you're allocating your resources, but some people can get away with not doing that, and having to pay a bit more attention is good for the consumer, honestly, because you should be thinking about these things anyways. Well, good for I don't think I phrased that right. You should be thinking regardless, and so the people who don't think and kind of dick around are probably gonna find themselves in a sticky situation come FR. Those who know how to make effective investments and stuff like that, and it'll bring back definitely some flavor in opinions, because we could really be like, all right, we might have limited resources, but now we got limited resources. What you trying to throw that FR into?
Yeah, and there's actually another good point about the monetization. We've been making a big point about how it doesn't really matter if you're hoarding stones right now, power stones, because the number that you're going to need is so much larger than the amount that you could possibly be getting. But for character board points, that's actually not true. GL people probably, I don't know, Mino, like you stopped having the Mog Pass, right?
Yeah, everyone's maxed.
Right, so you didn't have any reason to use the Mog Pass. Have you bought the Mog Pass again now that you heard about this news in JP?
Yes.
Yes. This is the perfect trigger for. Well, somebody said GL neurosis. It's making people panic and allocate their resources differently. And this also means that people might get more caught off guard by fighting, and you're like, all right, well, I could pull the twins LD synergy, but I want to save these Powerstones for the FR era.
Yeah, somebody will probably be doing that. I don't recommend going that far, but people may go that way. And so in this era, similar to what Mino did, a lot of people in JP were not renewing their Mog Passes either. But now that we know that it provides you an advantage in GL, a lot of people are going to get it, and that's money in Squex's pocket.
So that was might as well get Mog Pass now and start stocking up, because I want to max out those enhancements.
I got every EX in the game, but I can use those EX tokens for another Power Stone.
Yeah, look at that. Bars.
Wait, sorry, while you guys were chatting, I was looking this up just to make sure, since Multiracial Lion brought it up. So to fact check, I got it. The orb freezes when you trigger a force time with a ranged force ability. So it looks like freezing the gauge is really largely going to depend on the synergy character. So
I see.
But thankfully, we could get this power through friend units.
Yes.
So friend units can activate force time as well?
Yeah, so the strategy I did was because I mentioned this earlier, if you bring a force friend, or a friend that can trigger force, I don't know if it's force enhancement friend or a force weapon friend. But basically, if you I know for sure if you bring a Kane friend on that fight, you will start even if you don't have an FR in the party or a force enabled characters in the party. The FR gauge will be present during the whole fight, and it will charge. So
that's really cool. Actually,
yes,
that's
so
really cool.
I let them get theirs off, and then I let mine charge, and then I swapped Kane in, had him force time, and then I bursted, and I did like half of the boss health.
Okay, yeah, and this makes a lot of sense because while you guys are talking about it, like how you feel about this versus the orb, I was like, oh well, this has more depth. There's a back and forth because the boss has one too.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. But I was like, you know what I don't like is it looks like if you have 3 force weapons, you can just keep the gauge frozen and never interact. But it sounds like only certain force abilities will freeze it now.
And
so
and it looks like you can't have a bunch of forces active at once, I don't think either. So you got to choose which force you go in. It's kind of like how you could only burst once.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you got to choose a force. But you can also activate. But you're not stuck using one for the whole battle because if you manage to get your forces up multiple times, you could activate different forces multiple times.
Yes. And the other thing I wanted to say is you guys were talking about how like, oh, you know, everyone's gonna have to pick and choose now. Like, you can't just luck sack every force weapon. You have to choose what you have to invest in. And I was just thinking like, fuck, man. Now I have to hear Eamon like champion any fucking force weapon he pulls as the best force weapon ever. Not just there's gonna be a lot of people like that. I guarantee. Give it a month or two in JP. It's gonna be fucking horrible.
Everyone's the takes are gonna be all over the place because everyone's
gonna be like,
stuff.
my force
no
weapon
one's
is the best
gonna know.
one.
Oh my god, because you can't. That's actually hilarious. So
that's gonna be horrible.
No, it'll be. You know why it'll be hilarious? Oh, fucking Necklord. I noticed this time, bitch. I noticed this time, bitch. It feels theological. It feels rewarding learning the Shinryu fight, unlike Kate Sith. Well, Kate Sith is the bottom of the. Bottom of the fights this game has to offer, so I wouldn't worry. I mean, Theologic is like one of the best players on the planet, so I mean, Theologic saying it's trash. I mean, yeah, it
was overrated, man. That's what Eamon said.
Right. What I was trying to say though is that especially if it's hard, because like everyone sees the Sith range, like, oh shit, I got to pull, but the fact that people are broke all the time, plus the fact that it's not easy to max out force weapons, means it's gonna be harder to look at JP videos and say like what's popular, because not everybody's gonna. Because if you can't. It's not possible to keep having the new thing. It is way harder to keep doing that now. So drawing these conclusions, I mean, really, if there's anything that's gonna be judged, it's gonna be the units who ended up being MVPs going into the difficulty. And right now, it looks like Selfie, what's her name, Cisne, Layla. Ramza, Sephiroth just does ludicrous amounts of damage. Zac, Laguna,
Vincent's pretty good.
Yeah, Vincent, Prish.
Yeah,
those are some of the big MVPs here.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna have a much better picture of it in the next months of what really was very useful during this time.
Yeah,
it's a good transition, I suppose, into like all the chaos that GL has been having because it's been going through this. Pretty difficult era of fights, you know.
Yeah, well, this is the peak. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, we do have after this. I think we have roughly 5 months of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the twin cycle might catch people off guard.
Yeah,
because those fights were not hyped, and they have some things that can get you if you don't know what you're doing. Twins fights have the possibility to be like, what the fuck? Why did I just get blown up? And they're like, oh. Right. That's why. Oh, I gotta adjust. Okay, fine.
Does Vayne still suck in those fights?
No.
Oh, nice. Good to know. Glad I agreed then.
Yeah. I mean, Twins kind of demolished. I didn't think it was a good idea to get Vayne LD just for a cycle. Twins LD, I think, is a good idea just for that cycle, just for the synergy bonus on Boss Rush for one, and their goofy orb, just LD only Twins. But I'm gonna see if I can do it without completely. And then Garnett's fight has the fuck you threshold blow you up and one shot you from Eyebrave.
I feel like you die to that like once or twice, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. Or like the twins fight with Pinello, and Pinello kills you once, and you're like, oh, okay, let's not let that happen. And then the boss rush. I was trying to think of like boss rush non-synergy teams. And that last wave, I'm like, do I have the damage without a twins friend to get through the last wave? But I know people can range mount just through it, so There's options.
Yeah, I don't remember anything in that boss rush besides the first wave with the whales and Auron, and it takes 15 minutes no matter what you do.
Yeah, just kill it faster. Cross 13, you just mid-run blow up. You ever thought about that? Just blow up. Yeah, so sometimes you're just sitting there and then you get blown up. I know everyone's talking FR mechanics, but I'm excited to see who gets paired up for their attacks. So I am subliminally excited, but I don't want to talk about it because it's producing a lot of fanfic cringe that this community loves. Like, oh my god, what are some of the worst ones we've seen? Like people, I don't even know anymore. I've just seen an extended amount of cringe. We're gonna get some headcanon potential pairings. Like people are gonna put like fucking I swear to God, if they put Barret with Sazh.
Because they're both such good dads.
Yeah.
Where are you stealing my idea?
Oh my god.
They're gonna get in
I swear to God.
Sazh's hot rod and then drive by with the windows down.
Oh my god. So say it.
Why does he have a car, dude?
I swear to God.
Why is this possible?
Is there
Why
anyone
this
else with a
actually
gun
possible?
arm? No, there isn't. That is Barret's thing.
Samus.
Oh yeah, Samus. Samus is coming to the video.
Samus crossover. You heard it here.
Oh boy, y'all wanted violence. There it was.
Hey, didn't Dine have a gun arm too? Isn't that their thing?
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they added Braska. They might as well add Dine to the fucking game. I'm not even gonna discount that anymore. Jesus, by the way, chat. We're at 57 likes and 150 viewers. I said, go ahead and hit the like button. I know y'all are sitting there. Who was that guy? Yeah, Barret's backstory. That was Dine. Yeah, I mean, I really did not think they were gonna add Braska to this damn game. That's a.
Why? That was a given.
Really?
He's in all the other. Gachas.
I didn't know that. So.
He is stuff.
But Jesus,
look at the FFRK roster to see who's coming, man.
Man, that's some bullshit.
I guess. Well, that's the thing. They probably have analytics on how popular certain side characters are in RK, so they can use that as a basis of who to put in their own.
He like 3 lines in Final Fantasy.
Does this mean that no one likes Riku, and it's just a stupid meme, and Riku's actually not a very good character?
Apparently.
See, my theory on that is that they thought this game would only last like a year or two, and then it was more successful than they thought. So they were like, oh crap, we need to save some good characters for the future. And that's why those characters haven't come out yet. They're just putting all the Liuds and the Ursulas and whoever. They gotta stretch out time.
Yeah, wing people. They're gonna put Lud and Renoa together because they have wings. Someone clipped me laughing at the Barret Sazh thing. By the way, I want to hear that back.
You were dying.
Zird and Karilla, are those fucking FF11 characters?
Yes.
FF11 fans, bro.
No, FF14 fans.
FF14 fans.
Earlier, he was like, get Yoshi P to come fix the city.
That's the most FF14 fans thing I've seen today.
No, FF12 fans, man. Oh wait, hold on.
I mean.
No, MMO fans.
Largest is an FF12 fan.
Special breed.
Maybe I should. FF12 is a single-player MMO, so I guess we could just expand FF14 fans to MMO fans.
But FF12 still has a couple of good additions they could do. Redis, Doctor
Bro, FF12 fans. Look at this dude.
What about the potion guy?
Larsa.
Larsa.
That's the character everyone wants.
Larsa's gonna come in for sure because he's in both the other games too. That's an easy one. Like FFB and
Larsa at least did stuff. I wouldn't be mad at Larsa. I wouldn't be mad at Larsa. FF9 fans are the worst? Nah, that's FF14 fans. FF14s are the vegans of the Final Fantasy community. By far. They will let you know that they play that damn game. Where's the lie? FF11 fans might be worse about that, honestly. It might be just MMO fans. They will let you know they play those damn MMOs.
No, it's just hipsters in general.
Yeah, exactly. The vegans of the FF community. That's what they are.
Like FF11 fans like to be like, I'm one of the 10 people that played FF11. I'm cool. I'm a real.
I mean, Josh had to let everyone know he plays 11. And didn't Crystal tell everyone how she played 14? You can't make this shit up. Can't make it up. They gotta let you know.
Gotta let you know, man.
0 askers, but they had to tell you. Type 0 fans are also in the same boat.
And like, I watched that because I'd never paid any attention to FF11 at all, but I watched that recent Pro Jared video where he just like goes through it all, and like, man, holy shit, that game looks bad. It looked like level down. Excuse me, you can fucking level down.
That's just old MMO mechanics. WoW has that too, or had it at least.
Didn't you play Xenoblade Chronicles Necklord too?
Yes, I didn't level
down in that game.
I never leveled down when
Why? It made, well, at least in New Game Plus, it made the game more entertaining.
I mean,
oh wow, you're missing out. That was a fun mechanic. Is there any more Type 0 characters to add? There's plenty of Type 0 characters to add. They could easily keep going. And I'm mad I haven't used Sazh yet, but I've been eating shit every time I try to use her. I'm making me mad because I blew her on site. And then I saw VL use. I'm like, fuck VL. By the way, subscribe to me, VL, please. He's been doing overviews and actually like intelligent content and being a nice person and being funny. And VL doesn't get half the recognition. I should turn this account into a VL fan account because VL's content is so incredibly good and informative. And all the shit we just speculated about, VL probably knows for sure. And he's been in my chat like informing us. So please,
I know for sure. What the fuck? Just ask me.
Shut up. You don't have a YouTube channel. No, there's nowhere to ask you. Checkmate.
Discord.
Okay,
Discord.
yeah, whatever.
Omar has made a good comment here. You won't laugh after Josh makes his lion run on the Ghost Lieutenant. I'm curious. I'm curious as to whether he's going to do this one because he did drop into GL Gen and started being like, guys, you know, there's 95 turns and stuff. You got a lot of time.
Lion mod check.
And you don't have to cheese it. I definitely cheesed it. I recommend everyone cheese it.
Told me to do the down.
I think I've only seen 2 or 3 runs that were not cheese. They're more cheeses than there are non-cheese.
Like, what's the threshold for cheese for this fight? I guess it's to just bypass the.
I got a little story about this because this is a popular MMO thing, and it's been FF11 and FF14 since we're talking about it. Like, I remember they said lesson learned. The devs make a fight and they're like, it should be tackled this way, and then players find an easier way to do it, and then the devs try to like fix it, saying no, like we want you to do it our way. And the players are like, why? That's terrible. Like, why wouldn't I take the better way? That describes this month of fights, right? Like, even if it is possible to do it legit, we all know, just by looking at it, the legit way is shit. Like, I could kill the ads in both of these fights 5 times each. You know, I could do it, but why? Like, how does that add to my enjoyment of this game?
Yeah,
it's literally more repetition, and
it's just jerking yourself off if you do it. Like, congrats.
Yeah. Like, there's no reason not to do 1/5 of the work, because even 1/5 of the work is like a full Lufania fight.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it takes the same amount of time and the same amount of resources and turns and everything. And it's just like they wanted to make these marathon fights because of Vayne. This is cancer. Remember how we were talking about, like, oh, because Zidana's the featured character, there's a lot of turn deletion and turn hogging encouraged. Now that Vayne is the featured character, they want you to do 50-minute fights that take 500 turns that only count as 100, right? Like, holy shit. like even Josh, if you're listening, even if it is possible, why? What's the motivation of doing this legit? There's really none.
No, let's not even poison the well by calling it legit. If the boss AI allows it, it's not cheese. There's no cheese. Cheese is just such a bullshit word. If it's in the game, it works. Whatever. It ain't cheese. That's the mechanics. If they didn't want it in there, they should have changed it. It's not on us. We're just doing. There's no intended. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not. We're not letting the way we go about it. Let's not change the narrative by encouraging the cheese word. It's not,
I agree, but I just think it's funny that Josh, the community manager, specifically called it out as cheese, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
But if it is so bad,
hey, you know what, Josh? You should settle it in Strive.
Yeah,
if
the cheese is so bad, if it's not allowed, why didn't they just remove it coming into GL? They had 8 months. They had 8 months to do it.
The moral of the story is play us and strive again. Play us and strive again, Josh. We need some rematches.
It's all good. He's going to lead by example. You know, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait.
Yeah, he's going to be like, why didn't you guys just pull and MLB the featured characters?
Why didn't you play us again and strive? Questions.
Well, I mean, it's a win-win for us too. Because if he pulls it off, that means that he lost 30 to 45 minutes of his life playing that damn fight. If he does it, you know, that's great. But if he doesn't do it, then, you know, we're gonna months. So
yeah, but yeah, like both FF11 and FF14 have textbook cases of people quote unquote cheesing the fight because the legit way was just absolute bullshit. Any players know FF11 has absolute virtue, and the original coil boss Twin Tanya in FF14, everyone just found ways around the mechanics because they were such bullshit mechanics.
Also, because some people are saying they didn't know that Josh called it cheese. In the interests of accuracy here in the ranting hour, I'm going to read the comment out because he didn't quite say that it was cheese. He said, just a reminder that the turn count mission is 95 turns and the ghosts resummoning
Let me find his post and put it on screen.
Neither will not cheesing. All he said was not cheesing will not kill you.
I think it's important to put the picture on the screen because the picture below the message really says a lot too.
Oh, right. That is relevant.
What?
Yes. Thanks for reminding me. Don't say what it is. I gotta put it on stream.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, well, surprised
it's fun. It's funnier that way. This is not the TCC challenge. This is the Square Enix Josh challenge. I'm kidding. I don't speak for Square Enix, but it's pretty. Josh is baiting very clearly. Let's see. See if I can add that. OBS, add the image. It's pretty funny.
So, anyways, I think we did a good job dooming this fight. I feel like we did a good job.
Yeah, if people say it's overhyped, then we did a good job dooming it.
Yeah, I agree, 1000%.
It was. I have said this for a while now. It is the fight I've done in this game. I haven't been playing. I should mention I've only been playing since Emperor debut, so I haven't been. I'm not a day one player, by the way. But it's the hardest fight I've ever done, and it's not particularly. So
there we go. Just a reminder that the turn count mission is 95 turns, and the ghost resummoning won't necessarily kill you. Neither will not cheesing. So he didn't call it cheese. He implied there is a cheese. He implied the existence of a cheese.
I imagine if I were to speculate, I imagine the thing he's talking about is probably the double reigns Excalibur.
Yeah, we don't even know if he's talking about Agrius. He could be talking about double reigns and skipping phases. So we're not gonna assign any.
I found when I tried to cheese it with double reigns, I had a lot of trouble, and then I was like, hold on a minute, I pulled Agrius because of the dooming of this quest, and then I, remembered that. Put Agrius in the
by
party.
the way, like
suddenly it was way easier.
this month is a perfect example of why I'm glad I played GL, dude. Fuck this shit. If I ran into this blind, I would have been furious. This would have been insanely frustrating.
Oh yeah, especially not knowing.
It was frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like,
back-to-back MVP.
What Nidre was saying is he doesn't know if it's hard because he hasn't been around. Even if it's not the hardest fight, it is easily the most frustrating fucking fight. Like, there's no way I really actually want to run a marathon of ad killing twice in a row, back-to-back 2 events, 2 days apart.
Well, I feel like it's almost even worse. Like, I'd rather they just killed me straight up if I gave him a turn, rather than like, oh, I'm gonna put up 2 fucking ads and run away like a little baby. Like, it's almost more insulting this way.
Yeah, I agree. But this fight is over. It doesn't really. I mean, Shiva at least, because Shiva's not bullshit. It's just mechanically dense.
Yeah, and to quote Theologica, because they said what I wanted to say, which is basically a lot of fights I'll feel like accomplished doing a challenge run. Here it was like, I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah.
It's relief now that this fucking event is gone.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I felt that way about T6. I kind of felt that way about Shiva, but Shiva took me some time. But once I understood knowing what was going on with Shiva, I didn't feel like I was getting hoed in that fight. It just felt like I had to know how to counter everything. Unfortunately, looking back on it, they did end up resulting in me running a cookie cutter team of Warrior Light Ace or Porum Ace is probably a good solution there. But at least knowing what's going on in that fight is half the battle. But some people, that and T6 really.
You can, I don't feel like Shiva is so terrible. You can learn. You need to learn the mechanics, but you can kind of just get a lot of power and smoke it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Which you can't really like. The difficulty in Kate is like you have to do this, like timing and delaying, and you got to delay them, but you got to not delay them too much. It's a very difficult line to draw, and like only one other fight I can think of, pulling on the banner or banners nearby, didn't help at all. The other example I can think of for that is Seth's Lufania. Just because Seth was really bad.
Yeah.
But that was another thing that was a problem with this fight. So just screw this fight in general.
Yep.
Shiva is bad. T6 is bad.
Oh yeah, you all will cry. These fights will make players quit, and we're gonna get State of Lufenia threads. It's gonna make everyone cry and have to pull. You're forced to pull. You can't use Sid Reigns. What are the other dooming checkboxes? You're gonna have a heart attack. Your FR stash is gonna be ruined.
Quwie said it was bad design.
Yep, there you go. All the checkboxes. This is the worst fight in the game's history of all time. Even though there's multiple of them and they can't all be the worst at the same time, they are. It's gonna GL baby, GL crybaby. Where's that man? There's like this meme that lives rent free in my head that was really way back from some JP players where they it was like Lil Uzi Vert photoshopped onto future Trunks' face.
Oh yeah, that's Omar's people. Man.
Oh my god, that might be quite literally the most cringe thing I've seen. Y'all ever just seen some like cringe? Like I like physically cringe like when I think of that. I can't believe a human made that.
Or some shit.
Oh my god,
I remember the name.
It was. I need to find it.
Where is that guy anyways? That Omar guy.
Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? That was the cringiest thing I've seen in my life. I don't know how I got there. Why did that just pop back up into my head? But that was quite literally the worst thing I've seen in my life.
Hey, legit though, I gotta. Now that we're here, I'm actually gonna throw Quwie a bone. I agree. I think these two fights were actually bad design because there's no reason I needed to do this mechanic 5 times. 2 times, 3 times with a punishment or make it tighter is fine, but to have this fight really need to be like a 1-hour fight.
Kate's fight was garbage. That's bottom 5. I don't think that's disputed.
Shulk is just as bad. It's just easier to cheese, so I think people aren't fucking talking about it. Guys, if you want to do Shulk without fucking Agrius, be my fucking guest, but no one's doing it. Like everyone's saying, oh, it's not as bad because it's easier to cheat.
Yeah,
doing it legit is just as fucking
bad. Or you using Agrius friends, or just relying on Porum Confuse. A lot of the runs are ending up just using Confuse and going through it. So yeah, a lot of people. I mean, what was it?
I think these are on par.
Yeah, I agree that these fights were really bad. I agree with Quwie. I agree with you that these fights were. Problem is when somebody says, "Oh, these past fights or this past month have been really bad," and then declares the game is dead.
Oh yeah,
that's just crazy alarmism that I think Quwie was saying in his video. And like that kind of stuff we should definitely be calling.
We can go back on the Reddit thread from people who watched that video. You can see my comments in the thread where a guy claimed that Tifa, Vaughn, and Reigns were all locked out of content, which was complete bullshit. And there was one comment in that thread that said that got the formula for Brave Gain completely wrong, and the guy correcting him got like -52 downvotes for correcting. And it was like, we have Ishtola's 50% Brave Gain up to counteract the Brave Gain reductions. And somebody said that in that thread, and they were like, no, BT Plus doesn't even help her. And then they were like, it was some just god awful math. They're like, oh, the way it works out is it ends up being only -15 against the reductions. And someone commented like, no, that's not true. They got slammed with downvotes. So really, unfortunately, the way it goes is that if fights are blown way beyond what they do, people over prepare for it and then wonder why they were hyped. I think that was true for Vayne's fight specifically was a lot more accessible.
Andy is the one that people complain was overblown, but that was necessary. That's the first fight jump.
Yeah.
Also, Excalibur saying Shulk's fight isn't as bad as Kate's. I don't know about legit because I
agree. It's way easier.
We were talking in Frog server. I think Frog was bringing up that like in Brave Exvius or any other like RPG he's played, no turning has not been a strat. That's not the usual go-to. Only in this game has he played that no turning is the encouraged strat, and it's not even like it's legit encouraged because look at this fucking Shulk fight, right? If you give the ads a turn, you're dead. Like period. Like you the game literally wants you to delay them as much as possible and not give them a turn.
Well, you're not dead, but you get blown up. It's possible to sit through it, but it's easy to get rocked.
But like I just don't understand why so many times in this game the best strat is to not let the enemy do anything. That's so fucking boring, man.
Yes, I agree. But these fights are behind us. I know you guys see Excalibur in the comments, by the way. I know you already hit 1K, but that doesn't mean if you're not subscribed to his channel, you don't deserve to be subscribed to Mike. So go ahead and subscribe to him. Yeah, I mean, I guess we are over the hump now. I'm curious to see if Twins fights catch any people off guard.
Yeah, I felt the Twins was pretty difficult. Probably not, more difficult than the more difficult fights we've already been through, but there's definitely, I agree. I think people will get tripped up on it. I think some people might get tripped up on Garnet.
I don't know anymore. Since Rain's Mao was difficult, so I don't know what true difficulty is anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, there is that, and I also think that like different people have different difficulties. Like, we're in some Discords where people are saying that this was overhyped. Vein Cycle was overhyped, and we're in other Discord channels. People are saying, I don't know how I'm possibly going to get through this. People have different skill levels, right? So it's not just one thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. I guess we'll hear about it. I do it. Let's say if there's a 50-50 chance of us getting a State of Lufenia for the second half of this month, because these fights weren't hyped. And then it's Shiva time, and if we don't have a State of Lufenia by then, we definitely will. And then T6, and then it's and then we could see in global some of the people who have wanted easier content. We'll see if they enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And there's also the potential of a shakeup. Yeah, so always exciting things on the horizon. Josh, play me in Strive, please. Can't stop bringing that up. I just want to try it again, even though I'm rusty. I haven't played in a while. Hypothetically skipping everything until Machina or Lock BT. I guess that's something for another day. But do we think Lock aged well into Shinryu?
I wouldn't want to bring him personally.
Yeah, so that's funny because Lock can carry through the end of Lufenia Plus, but I'm not sure I'd want to bring him anymore.
Yeah, I think I'd rather. I mean, like, the thing is, like, you look at characters, you're like, oh man, Tifa came out and she can like 700,000 in her LD. That's so much more than Kuja used to do. And then you're like, oh man, now Vaughn can almost do that on every skill. Then you get characters who are like, oh man, I can do it on every HP, like Locke and Machina. Then you get characters who can press a skill and do it with Splash, like Vincent. So, the power creep just goes up over time.
Yeah, so it's just funny that Locke is one of the meta hype ones for steamrolling content, but now that we're actually in the new difficulty. And then then the irony being that Machina is about to get an update. I
would say that Locke is very good for the rest of the era, but I wouldn't pull him and expect him to last like the 6 months that he would need to last to get to Shinryu.
Who pulls for content 6 months later anyway? That's fucking stupid. Don't we always say just wait till you hit what you wait till you hit a wall and then fucking pull? Like, what the fuck is this dumb shit? Oh, Locke is
even though that would not have worked well for this month.
Yeah.
Although this month is the exception, but I said I didn't want to go longer than an hour today. Look at the fucking time. All right. I think I got everything. Talked about everything I wanted to. FR era Shinryu hype. We can see the takes form in real time. It'll be fun. I kind of want to do my JP retros again now that stuff is interesting finally again. Tifa with BT will evolve from Deku to All Might. I know Mino is cringing hearing My Hero Academia references. He hates anything referencing My Hero Academia, so congrats on giving Mino
now
some
I'm
pain.
looking at chat. Where the fuck is this shit?
I encourage everyone to try non-agrious, or let me call it cheese, non-cheese runs of the Shulk and Kate fight just to get some perspective. Maybe some sympathy for the people who weren't paying attention to Foresight or didn't have it in JP to see how these fights can go. Necklord, closing thoughts.
So I didn't actually pop in earlier because I was doing the Kate fight, and then I finished it, and then I came to the conclusion that Vayne sucks, and I want everyone to know that Vayne fucking sucks. No, it's a disgrace. There we go.
Magnum's gonna get you on that because he did LD Vayne and did fine. Although he did use Bart's BT, and he's like, oh wait, Bart's BT is a drug. So
yes.
Yeah, Vayne is tragic. He's been great on every other pass, but this one he's very sad.
Go ahead, Necklord.
Yeah, no. The only time, coincidentally, vein felt good in the fight when I was doing it was during the Bart's friend BT. So that explains everything.
Damn. Well, okay, I see. Nidre, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I think that I just want to start dooming the Shinryu now.
Yes, agreed. You will cry.
You guys finished the Kate Lufenia, and that was impressive. But that's nothing compared to the Shinryu. You have really to get the force gauges. You got to time all this stuff. You got to get your BTs correct. You got to pull the right character. You got to save your Powerstones. And you got to do over almost 2 million damage per turn. How could you even imagine numbers that large with our tiny GL minds right now? We can't process that.
Free to play, you're gonna be
uninstalled now.
You can't beat this. You cannot beat this fight without force and without pulling, and you have to have full blue, full ultimate weapon.
Terrible game.
You will cry. Game is doomed.
You will cry.
What's the post from 3 years ago? This game won't. I can't see this game lasting another 2 years. That'll totally apply this time.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for your daily dooming, DJ. Really, we need.
Just gotta stick that in there real quick.
That should be a thing. Daily dooming with Nidre. Thoughts and prayers. Mino, closing thoughts.
Fuck MMO players. Most 99% of you, 99% of you, the only thing you guys brag about is how much time you wasted. Just to prove myself right. I resubbed to FF14 and I'm getting ready for Endwalker. And then of course every DFFOO player wants to tell me, all their accomplishments in FF14. And just to prove it right, you know what they said? So I'll be like, oh hey, did you do this raid? What do your parses look like? And they'll be like, oh well, you may be parsing like the top 10 percentile, but you don't have all the mounts like I do. You don't. I farmed this glamour in this dungeon for like 35 hours. How many classes do you have at max? I'm like, I just have the tanks up. Oh well, I have every class up. Why? Can you play any of them? Can you play any of them? Do you do any content? Most MMO players, they seriously just love to brag about how much time in their life they've wasted on virtual accomplishments. It's the saddest fucking thing. Prove me wrong. Send me your fucking accomplishments. Oh my god.
Oh man. All right. So the reason Mino's feeling sick clearly is because he subscribed to FF14 and he felt such immense self-loathing. I hope that was cathartic, and I hope you feel better. Holy shit. Just to be a hipster, I beat Dirge of Cerberus, but don't pass level 30 in FF14. Nice. Okay. Nice. I don't know what to say to that. My closing, it's pretty funny though. Mino out here trying to compensate. Multiracial choosing violence. I was trying to get him in here today, but he was busy. Oh, that would have been funny. My accomplishment that I enjoy my time. That's real.
Did I hit multi with a stray bullet? I forgot. He does like FF14 a lot. I forgot.
Multiracial Lion's cool people. He's gonna be on here.
Yeah, Lion, you're cool people.
Yeah,
I like
you
if I hit you with a stray bullet, I'm sorry.
You are exempt from any MMO
if you hit that
jokes.
Stereotype.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not sorry.
On the other hand, though, who is not immune from it and has been on this podcast before is Alphanaud. That guy deserves every bad thing that anybody's ever said about them.
You have awoken the beast of Mark. It's not a podcast.
Yes, these are not podcasts.
This is not a podcast. Mark, I know you're listening to this. This is not a podcast. Please be nice.
Please don't brag about your fucking mounts and your glamours and shit. I don't care.
Yes, all right. Well,
a few more episodes, we'll be calling it the TRH.
Ew. Okay, die. Die and bleed. Die and bleed. No, stop.
What does the T stand for?
Stop. He's an idiot.
What don't you want to know?
Aren't you English? Didn't you guys invent this language?
Imagine being British.
The worst.
Okay. Anyways, closing thoughts. Force Team's fun. Kryl FR reveal in a bit. We will get the Doom fight that Nidre can legitimately Doom eventually, and I'm sure he's gonna have a blast with that. But yeah, I'm just glad to see where things are going. Game's fun. Try Agrius. I almost called them Agrius' fights. Try those fights without Agrius to get maybe some sympathy. If you thought these fights were not all that. If you thought the fight wasn't all that and you used Agrius, I mean, it's really telling when a lot of people use the same stuff for the same fight. I mean, that is hype and dooming being effective. Some of y'all need it, and when fights aren't hype, some of y'all bite the dust. So watch out, because I got the screenshots. Bad joke. Why the FF14 hate? I thought that game was dead. That was
I think you have to pay attention to FF14 to know what that's all about.
I think the joke is that
there's no content.
The game
right now.
Isn't dead. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I need to catch up. I got whiplashed by fucking 5.3. People telling me that shit was good. And
no, thank you. Add to the MMO violence.
Actually, no, we're revving it back up.
Add to the violence.
Fuck FF14's convoluted.
I wouldn't lock in for that. Lock in that shit to hell.
Yeah,
my favorite thing is watching Mark and BC play FF14 and then wondering why people like any of the Scions or any of the characters.
Yeah, like I was like, wait, because I got to a point where people liked Ishtola pre Endwalker, and I'm like, or pre Shadowbringers. I'm like, wait, she didn't fucking do anything. Like, and Lise, this character's trash. All these characters are trash. They all suck. Like,
they're all trash.
It's just anime, bro. It is an average story at best. And really the whole best FF story since FF10 is really misleading because it's not. I'm still putting FF10 above this by far. First off, second off, I just have so many issues. Like the amount of, I guess, is this how it feels to fight a Luthenia that's been Doom posted in global for 8 months? Is this how it feels?
It has to.
What it is I think Macnell said this. I'm gonna give credit to Macnell, but he says. All FF14 and FF11 players, you know why they hype their game so much? It's Stockholm Syndrome. They have to justify the 1,000 hours they put into walking from point A to point B to turn in quests. And they have to tell themselves it's a good game. It's cognitive dissonance, right? It's like Eamon with Rosa and Golbez. It's like, shit, if I admit this is a bad game, I admit that I spent my time terribly. And my life, and so it's like I have to say this is the best game ever.
I'm gonna be ready for Endwalker because I want to be able to judge it on release. I'm gonna go back and make sure I understand all the lore and stuff so I can judge it fairly. Because I want to be, if I'm gonna trash the game, I at least need to go through and understand what's going on. But best believe, I'm coming out swinging if this shit's a mid.
I'll be right there with you.
I'm coming out swinging, baby. Oh, best believe I'm causing some trouble.
The dumbest part, right, is the whole thing with it has the best story since FF10. The ironic bit is that in FF14, the best narrative content in the game is the FF12 spin-off part in fucking Bosja. That shit was great. So
does anyone know what he's talking about?
Discount 12 like this.
Anyone play that?
Goodness me.
Right, FF12 fans. FF12 fans. FF12 fans, FF14 players. The memes write themselves. The best part of 14 was Heaven's Word. Easily.
Yeah, I like Heaven's Word.
No cap. If only we spent our time on productive things, we should leave now and go read scientific articles. You spelled scientific wrong, but I guess you were going something there.
Yes.
Which means you extra need to do it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man! Remember to like the video. Have a good night. Yeah, we're devolving into pure violence at this point. This is the violence you guys were promised. By the way,
I'm extra fucking violent against
MMOs. Really do bring out the worst. Let me go back to playing Genshin and my anime girls. Hutao is adorable. I'm so glad. Genshin's fun.
Pass.
Nah, I love Genshin.
Skip.
Nope. He meant scientific. All right, I'm gonna close the stream now. Good night, everyone. Like the video on the way out. I'll catch you next week. Wait, what's next? Wait, is next week? No, that's not Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is whatever Thanksgiving week is. I'm probably not streaming then. Just off the bat, and Christmas, and so things are gonna get sketchy around there.
3 weeks, yeah.
I don't know. Well, whenever that, get your expectations in line, because ain't gonna be no streaming then. Genshin sucks. Nah, Genshin's lit. You got Raiden, Shogun, and Hutao, bro. That's all I need in life.